Hello, so welcome. Recently we've been filming a lot with my new Model 3 Performance, the refreshed version. But last night our friend Elon gave us some information about the kind of long-awaited Model S and X refresh. So what I want to do is call a couple of my colleagues down. They're going to sit at the computer and have a bit of a chat about it, kind of a one-take, unscripted chat about some of the changes. And I think ultimately, obviously, what we do here is sell a lot of Teslas. So let's have a chat about how that could affect the used market that's happening at the moment as well. So I'll get my colleagues down, grab a coffee, sit on the sofa, and we'll have a chat about it. Hi there. So it's the morning after the night before, basically. So last night we heard some details about the kind of long-anticipated Model S and X refresh. So we've come to work. We sat down this morning in our work bubble. And I've got my colleague Serge and my colleague Joe with me, and we're going to talk about it. So this is unscripted, we haven't practiced lines or have anything specific to talk about, but we're just going to have a chat amongst ourselves what we think about this new Model S and Model X. So, Serge, you were up pretty late last night getting probably more of the technical details and specs. It doesn't look too much different, does it?
No.
What's your overall impression so far?
A bit disappointed on the exterior.
Okay.
Not many changes. The front bumper looks like they went towards a Model 3, Model Y design.
Yeah, you can see the sort of slight difference in the front here, and obviously the fog light section has changed notably, isn't it? But all this kind of looks much the same.
Yeah, everything is pretty much the same except for the sill. You can see the sill is slightly different.
Well spotted. Okay.
That's about it for this, like the side of the car. But if you go towards the rear end, then you have some differences there.
Changes. Okay, we'll try and show some pictures of that in amongst this. Joe, first thoughts, impressions?
It's just a very gentle evolution, I think. Like Serge, I would have liked to have seen quite a difference, but at least the lineup now all complement each other nicely.
Yep.
So if you see them together, they've got that coherent design.
Yeah, I think I'll probably share an opinion, and from what I've seen on some of the forums and such like so far, is that I personally, I've always liked the look of the S. Yeah. It's a good looking car, but it would have kind of been nice to have just a little bit more to it to evolve, I think. And I guess it does tie a little bit more Model 3, no chrome, which I guess will divide opinion. We've certainly de-chromed a lot of Model S's here, and I think the red, especially with the de-chrome, looks good. But overall, yes, I think I would have liked to see more to it as well. Yeah. Let's just have a look at some of the sort of details of it here. So the offering at the moment, this is the UK website, we've got just the long range, which is listed here at £83,980. So doesn't come cheap really, does it? And I'm kind of worried it's just too similar to the used stock we have here, and I think we'll talk about some used market values in a minute as well, so obviously our speciality really. But the long range are just under £84,000, and then they've got the Plaid at 110,980. Then this is Plaid Plus. So I wasn't really expecting this differential here. I was kind of expecting, I mean, we can see some of the figures here, I mean, astonishing, aren't they? 200 miles per hour, under 2 seconds. It's talking here 1100 plus brake horsepower.
It also says it's the quickest quarter mile acceleration of any production car ever. So the Plaid Plus, it's going to be an absolute beast.
Well, we did quite a lot of film with Carlisle, as you know, and the performance Model S already blows almost everything. Yeah. This is really going to, the Taycan brought something to the table, but this is next level stuff.
And still cheaper than a fully spec'd up Taycan as well.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and if you look at the options list on Taycan, it's extensive, even with a new sort of cheaper model. So I think if you took the cheapest Taycan and put even a few of the basic options on it, you're still really going to be around the same as this long range. So let's have a quick look at the stats and a few numbers. So the long range, 3.1 seconds 0 to 60. It's about the same as the Model 3 performance. Or it's the same on paper as the Model 3, so we expect it to be very similar.
It's like the same speed as the outgoing, like insane 85Ds and stuff.
Yeah.
That was considered a performance 0 to 60. Now it's the standard 0 to 60.
Yeah.
That's so impressive.
It's a quick car, 412 mile range. So the range hasn't changed that much. So this is a dual motor on this long range. So I'm assuming really the mechanicals of this haven't changed. This is not the new battery stuff.
No.
And I think when we go to the plaid model here, if I find my mouse, this then is now a triple motor, but I think again probably a similar battery. Have they talked about a larger battery yet? I don't think they have.
Not
They?
yet, no.
And then I think the difference here with the Plaid Plus, which I presume will follow later, the reason for this big range difference is probably that's the new battery architecture that Tesla were talking about on Battery Day.
Yeah,
One
so
would assume, so.
you can see a bit of a difference on the US side, where they say that the Plaid will be available from March,
Yep.
and the Plaid Plus from late 2021. So
Yeah.
that should have the new battery.
At the moment on the UK site, they're all showing estimated delivery 2022. So I'm not quite sure at this stage what happens to people who have ordered recently new cars. Maybe this is an area. I kind of expect this long range to be coming into the UK fairly soon, one would
Yeah.
assume. And we'll come on to the X in a minute, but I think it's sort of a similar story with
Yeah.
the X.
Yeah.
So we can come to that in a second as well. Again, some fairly subtle refreshes. They were talking about removing the Falcon Wing doors, or somebody was at some point, but they seem to have kept all
Yeah,
that.
they're still
Yeah.
So I guess some of the biggest changes, as we expected, really come to the interior. So let's have a look at the exterior here. We do have these wheels here. Can't say they look particularly nice in my
No,
opinion.
they
I'd
don't.
be interested to see what everyone thinks in the comments below. Same colour lineup. It would have been nice to see some other options, I think.
Yeah,
Now,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hopefully, with new factories coming out.
So 19-inch, what they call Tempest wheels, and then these are the 21-inch Arachnid wheels. Now we've had Arachnid wheels. These are like probably a slightly different version of Arachnid wheels that we've had to date.
Yeah, they've got like a plastic centre cover like some of the other cars.
£4,400, and they look like a sort of mid-grey colour. So personally, I would be having the Arachnid wheels, but
Yeah.
probably the same as the current cars. The 19-inch wheels make all the sense, really, more range and
I
better
think because
ride.
they haven't changed the exterior so much. I think that car will actually look nice with turbines on it. So
Yeah, there's no
so
turbine option
No,
here
but you
now,
could,
is there?
if you don't like, if you wanted to not have you buy it on the Tempest, you want to upgrade the wheels for not £4,400. I think the turbines would look good on there. Cheaper option to upgrade,
They would probably, like it happened with the new Model 3s, like 2021 models. They have different TPMSs, so you would have to,
Could do,
change the TPMS sensors
Could
to
do.
It'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
the new version.
You never know. Let's bring it on to the interior. So what's changed here? This is probably the bit I was expecting some
Yeah.
changes. Let's get the elephant out of the room. The steering wheel is probably notable. So there's just half a steering wheel. I presume they're cost saving on the upper section.
I just
Yeah.
loved Knight Rider,
Um,
Michael Knight, David Hasselhoff would be well ahead like that.
Yep, Knight Rider. I'm old enough to remember it. You might
Yeah.
be too young. So. I am hearing that there is the option for a complete normal steering wheel.
I hope so.
But it'd be good to get one of these in with that one day. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it? I don't know how practical
yeah,
it'd
at least
be.
to try
Will
it,
it have
see
to
how
have
it is.
like an active steering so that when you're parking, is that a full lock and then on the motorway it's more gentle? I can't really see how you would find that useful lock to lock.
Day-to-day driving, as cool as it looks, the best thing about the Knight Industries 2000 was that it drove itself, because that steering wheel that
Well, it's hidden
Michael
there.
Knight had all he did when the action shots was just go, and if you no, not for me. But it looks kind of cool.
But maybe have some kind of active steering, so actually when you're parking, it's a much
it'll
faster
become-
rack.
Yeah, that's it. Who
Dunno.
knows? But
The stocks have disappeared.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you don't have any, you don't put it in drive like you used to. on
you're
the-
quite correct. Indeed.
So it's probably, from what I've read,
Doesn't steer
it's
well.
a combination between AI and
Mhm.
like a few buttons on the steering wheels.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are. Well, I noticed. I was looking at a picture of the steering wheel. It's got the buttons that we're all used to now on the Model 3, and there are some marks on the wheel as well. But you can't see them very clearly. But it looks like forward and reverse. That could be to do with the track, like
So
your
like buttons
music.
on the wheel.
It could be like your music, but it could be to put it in forward and reverse. I mean, yeah, and indicators, AI indicators. I mean, they'd probably be as good as the AI windscreen wipers. So that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And fundamentally, they've kept the dashboard in front of the driver.
Yeah, I like
it's
the
not like the
pinnacle,
Model 3. They've
yeah.
kept that. I think they could have done a single screen and a head-up display maybe, but they've also decided to keep this as a high
like
definition display. And then the centre one now goes to landscape,
Yeah.
17-inch. So this would be much more familiar to Model 3 drivers.
Yeah.
It tilts. This centre cubby really now echoes the newer Model 3, and obviously we've talked about the new Model 3. We've got the new Model
Yeah.
3. We've done some
Yeah.
videos on that. So this will probably be a phone pad here and some fairly deep centre console storage. I have to say, the original Model S with the open yacht floor, I actually quite like that. Then when they did put the console in, it never really was a good centre console usable. It felt like an afterthought.
It did.
And that's lasted for 5 years now, something like that. So it's good to see something. It should feel more solid. There's options here for black, white, and then they seem to have added, that's the white, which seems to have wood trim here.
Unlike the long range ones, you have wood trim. On the Plaid and Plaid Plus, it's the same interior colours but with carbon fibre. There's no wood option. What's quite
is it?
nice to
Okay.
see is that on the
So we'll go to plaid.
on the centre console, it's that kind of wood finish. So hopefully it doesn't look glossy, so it might not have to
Oh,
have
I
all
see.
these
So that's carbon.
scratches everywhere
Yeah, I
like
see.
you get on the others. It'd be quite cool.
So on plaid carbon, otherwise you've got the walnut finish, they're calling it. Yeah, okay. So we can expect this now to echo really Model 3 in terms of how the screen looks, works. It'll obviously accommodate Netflix and YouTube. Should we assume perhaps some double laminated glass in this, so double glazing like the Model 3?
Oh yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
It would seem logical. I have to say from the Model 3 and some noise tests and just from now driving it, I've driven the new one quite a lot now, especially in the last week. We've done quite a lot of film clips of range and economies, and we need to edit those and get them out. But the double glazing in the Model 3 doesn't really add any difference in terms of what it's like to be inside. I think it's probably for thermal properties,
Yeah, I
more
think you're right.
drive efficiency. And whilst we're talking efficiency, this would presumably have heat pump as well now,
Yeah,
one would
probably.
assume.
It does have noise cancellation.
Yes, that's interesting, isn't it?
So, so it should.
I think it
A
should
lot
be. I think it should
different,
be much quieter. I think it seems very quiet to everyone who's new to it, and they are quite quiet cars. But actually, we've got a hybrid S-Class Mercedes over there, a plug-in hybrid, and I would like to have a little bit of the ultimate refinement, the smoothness, the quietness of that available
Well,
with the
the
Model S, because that
Mercedes-
would be justifying the still significant price point a bit more, I think.
And the Merc is, even when the engine's running, it's still super quiet in the cabin.
It would be nice if it has a bit. I mean, it's obviously going to be more sort of simple inside, but if it just has that refinement, we assume active damping and stuff, so it will be perhaps a smoother ride. Do we know anything about any of the kind of any suspension changes, anything along those
No,
lines?
nothing on the
No?
website
Okay.
so far.
Probably have the same as the Raven then, adaptive.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So it's £2,000 extra for tan or white interior, but you get the all black included. Yeah, I like the white, but I wouldn't want the white with the walnut myself. But
Yeah.
as with the Model 3s, that can probably be changed with a dashboard.
So that means that,
Replacement.
that means that the upgrade to get rid of wood is not 2,000 quid. It's about 30 because you have to buy the plate.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think the suede leather is still on the door cards.
Sorry, I've got to
I like the Alcantara stuff.
So that would be a bit more like the.
I noticed
Yeah,
push
Model
buttons
3,
as well. I noticed
Yeah.
push buttons for the door handle. So instead of a door handle, it's got like a little push button like the Model 3. And
Not
some
the
of
Model
the
3. So you
pictures
can
say-
see it's a bit of grown up Model 3 version.
Yeah,
basically,
that's
isn't it?
right. But I quite like that. The push button's quite nice and easy to use. You know.
Yeah. And actually, the older Model 3 didn't have a symbol to say what that button did, newer ones do, which
Yeah.
kind of makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to skip over this. Let's go back to these standard wheels here, these 19-inch wheels, probably the same size as we've got on the current cars. But these here, these alloys with kind of a plastic insert, has anything been discussed about them? I don't think anyone knows anything about that yet, but they look like that alloy, but then maybe a kind of plastic insert. And
I bet
from the look of it there, I can't say I'm a particular fan. It's probably more aerodynamic for sure, but
it might be like the aero covers on the 3 that you take them off and it will reveal
Yeah.
a bit more of that wheel. And
I
plus,
think that's it.
I'm sure we'll be painting those wheels.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
for
so.
sure.
Matrix headlights we would
Hopefully.
like to see.
Yeah.
They've got
Yeah.
LEDs now. The new Model 3, by all intents and purposes, seems to have matrix headlights. Although they don't do anything active yet. I kind of think that probably will
Could
come
be
with
switched
software updates, without maybe corner, maybe shadow cars in front.
Yeah.
It would need to have some of that stuff,
I was
really.
looking at a previous model headlights, and you kind of see a difference there. So it looks more like the Model 3 headlights. So hopefully they are.
Yep.
And, you know, with all the problems that the old design had.
They would have done something with it. So again, they've kept it very simple. There's not too many options available to you. You've got the standard here as configured at the moment with the standard autopilot, and then you have to buy full self-driving if you want the kind of fuller version of autopilot
Yeah.
with lane changing if you want summon and self parking. And at the moment it's 6,800. Again, rumours of that going up in price, but probably what's going to happen is a subscription. I think autopilot should stay on your Tesla account. So if you sell a car, then you buy another Tesla, then you can just move it onto that car or apply it to any car on your account.
Yeah.
That's what I think makes sense if you buy it. I don't think that's going to happen, certainly not yet, but it probably will be available on a subscription basis.
Yeah,
so.
or maybe they'll do like a pay per mile thing. So if you activate it on a dual carriageway, it will say, oh, well, you want to use that.
I think they've started that with the subscription, especially with the new Model
maybe
3s that were delivered up until 31st of January.
Okay.
Some people received it, some customers
Really?
received
Okay.
it, yeah, because they ordered in the last few
In the
days.
UK?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, cool.
I'll look a bit more about that. But when I bought my new Model 3, I didn't feel the need to spend the extra 6,800.
Yeah.
It just is not functioning, and a lot of people have bought it because I think the two motives. One is to sort of kind of help promote this and get it going. I think some people expected they needed it if they wanted
Yeah.
some autopilot, but I think it's just hard at the moment with what it can do on the road now
Yeah, I
to
agree.
justify the 6,800. But and obviously what we see in the used market is cars that have the full self-driving have some premium over cars that don't have the full self-driving. It is a selling point, but not by 6,800.
No.
On the used market, maybe has a couple of £1,000. As the used car's got full self-driving, I think they're
I think
good value.
it's,
You know, and they are good value.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're not spending 6,800. But
Well-
we've had a lot of customers of ours where we're selling their car, we've bought this car from them, and ultimately they're not really getting more
No.
or much more
I think
than
people
the
like that
6,800
kind
they
of
spent. So,
sort of future-proofing feel
yeah.
that they've got. That's what people like. I mean, the only thing that I miss when driving what they call like the highway autopilot, I think they call it,
Yeah.
is the lane change thing. Because you know, when you're going to change lanes and autopilot disengages and you have to switch it back on again,
Yeah.
you know, that can be a bit. But that's not.
I think
that's not
that's
worth
it.
£6,800.
The standard one at the moment, for anyone to know, does lane keeps the car in central lane, radar cruises, but if you want a lane change and you indicate, it will cancel the autopilot. It'll keep the cruise on, but then you have to re-engage autopilot. When I've had cars that have the fullest, either self-drive or the enhanced autopilot with lane changing, that was quite good. The summon and self-parking, I can't say I ever really used them, to be honest, so it doesn't really justify for me. So there are changes. I think Tesla always say they constantly evolve the car, don't they? I would have just liked to have seen, I thought, especially when they stopped production for a couple of weeks, I was going to see some different panels and stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
They
that's
probably
it.
have underneath, and they've got now probably a structure that will hold this new battery pack and stuff. But
It's a really gentle evolution. If you go to the homepage, go to the Model S,
Just to see the
and then you can scroll down and you'll be able to see some stuff about the interior. So if you just scroll down
back
now,
seats as well.
yeah, you can see a few more images.
Like all
You
the
might have to click on
Model
the Model
S, Model S?
Click the Model S.
apparently they're ramping up their solar part now.
Yeah, so you should be able to now.
You can see a different, I mean, I quite like that bit.
Yeah, it's nice and clean. Yeah, definitely. If you go down, it should go through. So you've got a slightly bigger view of the interior. I must say, I'm not. You see that
camera's
chart?
still there.
Yeah, got
Oh,
camera,
right.
interior camera. Yeah.
You see if you scroll down a tiny bit, you see the charge port. Oh, sorry, Rich. Up again. There you go.
Yeah.
The charge pad. There's no cover by the look of it.
Well, the same as the Model 3.
Yeah.
New Model 3 doesn't have a cover. It's just an open pad like that with some Alcantara
So
backing,
that
which is
fucking-
nice.
Yeah.
The pad, when you had the panel, everyone just keep it up
It
anyway.
looks a bit more premium with the
Hazard button down here.
Yeah.
Screen in the back now.
Yeah.
It's actually a console, a gaming console.
That was it.
They're probably gonna be able to run YouTube and Netflix and stuff like that, but yeah.
See there you can
it's,
see on the sorry, Serge. Now you see on the steering wheel, just
This
light.
is-
It'll flick across in a minute. It'll come back, but you can see just little light. Other indicators. Maybe there's some soft
There's
touch
some
buttons
buttons on
on
the
there.
steering wheel. So it's got the sort of dash vents like the Model 3 as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
now. So you've just got the slot and you can adjust the airflow coming out of those. So
You can see them there. On
Yeah.
the steering wheel. There's
So
some stuff.
there's buttons next to the scroll
Yeah.
wheel.
So maybe
and then you
you've
got the indicators there.
yeah, that's
That's
perhaps it.
indicators. Yeah, there it is.
So maybe on the right you've got your drive and reverse. That's pretty cool. I quite
Yeah.
like that.
Be interesting to try it in the real world.
Although the gear selector, when manoeuvring the car, is really nice and easy to flick from forward to reverse. It's a very nice setup they've currently got, which I do enjoy too.
It must have a fast steering rack for this steering wheel. It really must. So yeah, it's cool. The air vents in the Model 3 are cool. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
it's good to see that on here.
Nicer, more
Makes sense to
upgraded.
have again all the BMW 7 Series and S classes,
Yeah,
screens in the back, so I guess it's needed.
That centre armrest has got a little wooden inlay on it. You can see there, so they have upped the level of luxury feel and detail. You know, they have, and I like that rear
10
screen. That's really cool.
teraflops of processing power.
Oh yeah, Serge knows what a teraflop is, don't you, Serge?
It's as powerful as a PS5,
Good, okay.
basically. So yeah,
Handy
Play
for
driving
the back.
games while you're being driven.
Did
for
you see?
passengers, it's going to be
Yeah, it's
fun.
in the 7-seat option again.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Ah.
the 7-seat. I don't know if it says it here, but I have seen on somewhere
Yeah.
last night that the 7-seat option
It's coming back.
is being talked about, or is coming back, and it will again be the fastest 7-seater.
Yeah, they
I
were.
don't know, might be making up. Maybe somebody told me
No,
completely
no,
wrong
Can
story.
you
But
imagine
that's what
a
I
plane
have.
launch with the rear pack? Oh my
Yeah, it'd be
goodness!
horrendous.
There were some tweets before Christmas from Elon talking about the 7-seat for Model Y, but at the same time he was talking about a Model S as well. So but he didn't say anything else. So it's kind of
Yeah, okay.
unclear.
Well, let's say maybe I'm incorrect with that, but I have heard of the 7-seat.
You can see the rear
I can't see anything on here about it, is it?
Kind
So
of
Yeah,
there's
this
different-
rear bumper's slightly different, isn't it?
rear
Yeah.
diffuser.
See, red with a D-chrome,
Yeah,
I
that's
have to
good.
say that does look good, but hopefully they can, we had problems with some of the early lights with
Yeah.
water ingress, so hopefully that's been resolved on these. But that all looks very much similar. Maybe the Plaid Plus will have slightly wider
It's got
haultures.
slightly changed plinth on the back, and I think they've changed the line of the boot
That's
lid.
it.
Yeah, at the top as well. I think the boot lid's been changed a little bit, perhaps.
Maybe.
Also, it doesn't look like it has CCS.
Yeah.
Still Type 2 if you go.
Yeah, this is
Charge
interesting
port
whether you can
looks-
fit the European CCS into this
Yeah.
charge port flap here.
Unless
so maybe
it
they're still
opens-
relying on an adapter.
Yeah.
Well, that's what.
Because that's what I was thinking, they're going to have to change the back lights and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Maybe just-
Yeah, it's red diffuser. So it's an evolution, it's a continuous improvement. Yeah, I guess I would have
It's
been
good
kind of
car.
nice. It's still a pretty car.
That looks
Front
nice.
bumper from this.
Yeah, you can see a little bit more of that front splitters coming.
Yeah.
And maybe the
as well.
Plaid Plus will carry some different features to it, because at the moment, sort of standard version of the performance, P100D, long range performance all look much the same.
Yeah,
But
they do.
maybe they're going to differentiate that slightly.
It looks good in blue.
Yeah, over 500 miles of range on the Plaid Plus is quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So very slick. Should we have just a quick look at the Model X and cover that, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk a little bit about what the used market's doing at the moment.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's cover the Model X fairly briefly. It's sort of in similar vein to the Model S. It carries very similar interior changes. A bit of change on the front bumper here.
Yeah.
So you lose that sort of fog light down here, but obviously it seems to have a light there. Let's go through these pictures first, and we'll talk about the options available. So I think it's long range and just a Plaid, isn't it?
Yeah.
Carries a similar interior, half a steering wheel, I presume as well option for the full steering wheel. Similar screen and centre console unit here. So this all looks very similar really to the Model S. Rear screen carried over as well, I presume for second row passengers. USB-Cs, phone pads there as normal. 22 speaker, 960 watt audio system.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That's the thing with the noise cancelling. That's both have got that.
Yeah.
Noise cancelling would be like the headphones you get. So it's an artificial way of stopping noise in the cabin.
Yep.
So whether it'll work when you're just driving along without the radio on, or whether it's specifically for your enjoyment when using the sound system is another story. But be interesting to see, because I've come across it used in headphones, but I've never kind of come across noise cancelling used in an open environment like that. It's
Yeah.
a bit different, quite cool.
It will be interesting,
Yeah.
absolutely. Even possibly a double glazing noise
Yeah,
cancelling.
yeah,
Maybe it could be a very quiet
I
thing.
mean, I
but-
already enjoy the detail sound you get from this because the cabin's quiet and because the way
Yeah.
it's tuned. So it could be, all these other brands have got Bang Olufsen and Harman Kardon, Meridian and stuff like that. This is
Yeah.
not branded, but it could be a real. It looks like it's going to sound great. Really,
Yeah.
really good fun.
You can see here they're offering two options. The long range, 3.8 seconds to 60, 360 miles of range, and then the Plaid, 2.5 seconds with an asterisk, with rollout subtracted, so the 1 foot rollout taken off, so in the real world about 2.7 probably, and 340 miles of range. So again, I presume that at least the long range is going to be fairly similar mechanicals and probably a 100 kilo battery. The Plaid then adding a tri-motor system, bit more efficiency, probably because of a heat pump.
Yeah.
Long range, I
Yeah,
presume.
probably.
I read somewhere that the capacity of the boot space is a tad higher. So if
Oh,
you've
really?
read similar, heard similar.
Maybe it's deeper.
Yeah, maybe
a
I
bit
dreamt
underneath.
it. Maybe they changed the shape. I'm sure I saw somewhere, but it might be on the Tesla Owners group on Facebook or something like that. Somebody was saying that the actual quote in the storage capacity has
It's gone up.
slightly larger. So where that comes from, I don't quite
Because
know,
you need more
but,
room, because you can't get much in them, can you?
they're pretty vast, aren't they? So it looks similar. There's a different wheel design here. So because we had, we do notice that the 22-inch wheels at the moment do cost quite a lot of efficiency and therefore range.
Indeed.
So these look like they are more aerodynamic, which would make sense, and it would be nice if it
There's going to be
carries a
some,
bit more range on the XX. Is always sort of fighting its weight and size and aerodynamics. So if these are more efficient, it'd be good. A little bit of difference with the rear balance as well, by the look of it.
those wheels. I'm sure we're going to see some really brilliant two-tone paint effects applied to those. The ones you just had.
Yep.
There'll be all sorts of matching
it'd
body
be quite
colour
easy.
paint.
I mean, they
Make
look
it
like a wheel.
Porsche idea.
They look like a wheel of inserts. So
Yeah.
what they quote in here, so the long range is over £90,000 though, £90,980 in the UK, and the plaid version £110,980. So it does come at some cost. Again, they're quoted estimated delivery 2022. I could, for the plaid perhaps, the long range I have to assume they'll make something available sooner than that for
You'd
the
hope
UK.
so, yeah.
If not, I can imagine the used prices of some of our stock. We have some from fantastic Model X's in stock at the moment. We could see an increased demand on them if nobody can get hold of a new one.
Yeah, I think it's good news, and I think your car geeks will spot the new one rolling down the road versus an earlier one. But they're the evolution of the exterior is so genteel that
There's
actually,
not too much to it.
you don't have. It's not like the case that you've got to be seeing the latest one, and it's really obvious what the difference is. So I think that will help.
Well, ultimately, they're just not available for
Yeah,
a year.
exactly.
Or 6.
Yeah.
I think the long range would have to be available sooner. Maybe the plaid follows. But
And
so
they've kept
we'll
the
see
fashion rules on
what it says here. We'll see. What have we got for options? It looks like some 20-inch wheels. So we've got 20-inch Cyberstream wheels, and we've got 22-inch turbine wheels. Both wheel designs look slightly different. The same colour set of which we've got at the moment.
It's quite nice they don't have the same wheels as the Model S now, because they all had the same slipstream.
The slipstreams look pretty similar, don't
So
they?
now they've got the different wheels for both cars. I quite like. Interiors are the same actually. I can tell you
It's
that.
pretty similar, yeah. 5, 6, and 7-seat interiors and the same autopilot options. So
Same colourways. Only
Did you-
difference for carbon fibre is in the plate one.
yeah.
Do the door cards have the pockets on the Model S? Because
Oh yeah.
they have it here.
It's hard to see in these pictures, isn't
No,
it?
these have it,
Okay.
Model X, but I'm not sure about Model S.
I think
It
it
would
probably
be good.
would, because you've got dual
Yeah.
pockets on the Model 3 and it's a really great
Yeah.
version of that, so we think so.
Long overdue.
So there's some interesting changes. The prices, they haven't changed that much. The prices have actually gone up a little bit, haven't they? So where does it sit with the used market? It's what we do. We've got a big used Teslas. And actually, we've been quite busy recently because a lot of people have been considering selling their S and X pending this new model. So we have got quite a lot of stock, quite a lot's come in, there are quite a lot of people changing their cars. And the pricing in the market has been a little bit uncertain. We've had lockdowns, we've had Christmas, New Year, we've come out the other side, and at the moment we're very busy. We're all flat out at the moment. So
This is taking quite a while, Rich.
yeah, well, my phone's buzzing away. So I think in terms of the price of this, the lack of changes, and the potential lack of availability, I don't think anyone with current models needs to worry too much. I don't think enough has really changed to think I have to get a new one because it's got twice as much range.
I agree.
I have to get a new one because it looks so much different. So I think that'll actually be good for the owners currently and anyone selling their car. I think the market will be quite stable. Alas, if there is no S or X coming into the country for a bit, we could even see the demand increase.
Yeah.
There's more in the used market now. There always is. Obviously, more and more Teslas sold, more coming to used market. The prices have been falling, and they have fallen a bit recently. They're more stable in a lot of cars, but we've seen probably some of the 90Ds perhaps come down in value, and I think they're great value now. 'Cause
They really
in
are.
the real world, they're not too far from the range, but
No.
they have come down. So I think actually the market's going to be quite stable now. It's the same with phones really with his cars. Something slightly better comes out and people want to sell and change it, and that will always naturally be a thing to do. And then it's all going to be down to how quickly and fast these come into the country and what the demand is like. You know, if they had a lot of differences, I can imagine a lot more people selling their current cars and therefore prices coming down, but I don't think that's the case. So I think for all our clients and all our stock and cars here, I don't think we're going to see a vast drop in the market coming up. I don't know if you agree with the same kind
I
of thing.
think that the difference between the long range new Model S and a 100D and a 90D, there's some extra range, but in terms of real daily usage, dare I say it, for getting the brand new car, you're not going to get that much more car. So when the Model 3 was sort of waiting in the wings and kept being delayed and so on, actually people started to say, well, I'm just going to get a Model S instead, because the price is there. And I think you might find a similar thing here where, well, why wait when you can get a nice facelift Model S, 100D, 90D, whatever, which will do it. It'll do all that same stuff. And you can still get great value. Like if you buy the right sweet spot, you'll get what you have to pay for in the...
You can enhanced autopilot.
That's right, so you
on a
get
used
your
car.
auto park, you'll
Some
get
of
your
them have
lane
free
change.
supercharging.
That's it. There's still this sort of sweet spot that
I
exists.
think that's
where
why
you
the
get
demand's
good
still high,
value.
isn't it? And
Yeah.
obviously, times have changed where at times our showroom has to be closed to customers, but we've been very busy because we can still deliver. So I think everyone's just come around to the fact that you can do more buying online and it just gets delivered, and that can be
Got video calls
a
going
washing
on.
machine or it could be a car.
Yeah.
So that's keeping everything here still very busy.
Yeah.
Good stock turnaround as normal. So let's wrap this up. It's interesting to see. It's an evolution, not the biggest change in the world yet. I'm sure there's going to be some more hidden surprises and extras.
Yeah, you can
I think
rely
the
on
next
that.
exciting thing will be the new battery architecture and of course Model Y. Will the Model Y for the UK be produced in Berlin? Will it come from Shanghai? Shanghai doing the right-hand drive car. So there's always news in the Tesla world, isn't there? So, but let's wrap this up for now. Hopefully that was of interest to people watching this video.
So.
If you are thinking of buying a new Tesla, we can also offer a referral code. I mustn't forget this. I've got a referral code we can give you, which would normally give you some free supercharging. So if you contact us, we'll happily share that. And it's also on our website. We'll put it in the comments of this video below as well. So if you click through that referral code, configure the car and order, then it usually applies some kind of benefit to you, like free supercharging. Okay, so it's interesting. Let's wait for the next change and what happens, and we'll also see how the used market happens here. We've got lots of videos we've been making with the new Model 3. We've done some filming with CarWow recently on complete range tests of running the new Model 3 from 100% down to absolute zero driving until it went flat. So if you don't follow and subscribe to CarWow already, then do so. There's some more filming happening tomorrow, which will be some performance testing, comparing the new performance versus the old performance, for example. So again, subscribe to us and CarWow to see those videos. Let's wrap it up for now. Thanks, Serge. Thanks, Joe. Good to get your opinions.
Good stuff.
And goodbye, everybody, for now.
That was instant coffee, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
pretty
let's get some more
terrible.
coffee. Well, shuts down.
Yeah, so that was good. But
Yeah, it's interesting to go through it. We're obviously going to find some more stuff out about it, aren't we? But,
So what are you going to buy then? You going to buy one?
am I going to buy one?
Yeah.
I'll say no, but I probably will end up
You
buying
love
one.
the S though, don't you? You love it. And it's
I do in
the
a lot
extra
of ways
size and
prefer an
everything.
S over a 3. I still love the way it looks. I'm not criticising the way it looks. I would have liked to see it a bit different, but
I think
the trouble is, if I do,
I don't think
probably
you'd be
needs to be
able
a
to
plaid.
Obviously.
we had one of the. I mean, you had one of the first Model 3s in UK, so I think we should have.
So you didn't put pressure on me to
Yeah,
get
that's it,
one.
yeah. Well, don't forget we've still got the Cybertruck.
Oh, boys, you better sell some stuff then.
Yeah, we messing around.